how to achieve color detection using machine learning. Now, color detection of some specific part of an image poses some unique challenges which are listed here. So simply, first of all, how will the machine learning algorithm or the function, how will it interpret the color, right? How will it understand what color is there? Because it cannot the values which will be read, I mean, how will you read the image in a way where the machine can understand colors? So for that we will use a library called OpenCV, and that will mainly help with the color detection problem. So there are, of course, some technologies like OpenCV and the draw function are two technologies central to this project. OpenCV is simply open computer vision. It is an open source library which is mainly used for image classification, object classification, and the draw function is a custom function that we ourselves will create, which will calculate the x and y coordinates and RGB values. So we are not we of course there are other methods to do this, like pillow and gradient, uh, pillow, which is an alternative to OpenCV, but we won't be using pillow as it has uh, some problems which it cannot deal with, like it is not good enough in image transformations, cannot process video, etc. Now the methodology is that we will be first creating an Argpass function which will simply be able to load data or load an image from the links that we provide, upon which of course we will be loading the image, creating the draw function, getting our statistics, which will simply be the RGB values along with our hex code and the color name, and calculate the distance from the RGB values to get the color names. Now, the way we will calculate the RGB values of the pixel, we want it to be calculated after we double click, right? And simply we want to use RGB, the red, green, and blue values, to find hex and name of color used. So our draw function will simply, we will double click, it will get the xy coordinates, check the RGB values of those coordinates, and then on that, it will take the RGB values not only of that coordinate, because that will be a very small area, of a certain window of whose size we will define that area's color, and then it will give us the RGB values from which it will then derive the hex and name of color used. So data acquisition, we will of course be importing Argpass, which will be used for parsing and getting our images using the image paths, right? And the index, color name, hex, RGB, I'm providing separately because the colors.csv file does not have those indexes, so we need to provide them ourselves. So that's why I've put separately names equals index, so this will provide the column names that we have given. Model preparation. Okay, so simply we are setting our mouse, simply we are here defining our draw function, which is a very important part. So we are saying if the event that occurs is a L button double click, simply a button double click, or left double click rather than a right double click. So if a left double click occurs, it has to get the blue, green, red RGB values, x position, y position, and then if clicked equals true, x position equals x, y position equals y, take the RGB values and convert them to integers, right? After which of course we will define our get color name function. This is what, so draw function will get the RGB values, but it won't be able to get the color names. To get the color names, we need to calculate the distance from the maximum RGB values to get the color names. So for that we will need this get color name function, which will take RGB as an input and return the color name. So simply we are saying here that we are simply saying we are going to take red and minus it from the ith red color, which is simply the red color we got, plus green. So we will add these numbers up and using those, we will use our CSV to get the color name, which will have the CSV file is having the RGB values and the corresponding color name. So all it's going to do is it's going to get the RGB values subtracted and then get the color names itself from the CSV file that we provided. So in summary, this was a quite simple project, not complex at all. All we did was created a OpenCV object, an Argpass, which can take file, which can derive images from the paths that we provide. Then we created a draw function, which simply defined how to, like, when to take the RGB values and of what area, so what XY coordinates, how much is the window going to be around it. And then we defined a get color function, which takes the RGB values, calculates the distances, and then refers to the color.csv file we provided to get the corresponding color name and hex code. And using this simple code, which was very small, very compact and efficient, we are able to deal with most of the problems we were facing with the color detection project. So in the future, of course, there are like color detection does not have many has really few practical use cases. So we should try instead object detection, or which has many practical use cases. So we could make our object detection using neural networks and long short-term memory to create a really accurate model, which would actually serve some practical purpose as opposed to color detection. Like, frankly speaking, color detection, I don't know if it has any practical use case.